Hi, my name is Chef Tilly. I'm a nutrition chef and a partner at Miele, and tonight is a kitchen discovery experience where we'll be using the steam combination oven to make a three-course delicious African meal. Today is about making the meals you create at home naturally, but using just one appliance, the Miele steam combination oven. So for starters, I'll be making the classic Nigerian Moi Moi with boiled eggs and topped with salmon, all made in the steam combination oven. And then we'll go into our smoky jollof rice, but using the steam combination oven to smoke it and not at all any pots or induction hob. So today we're going to be making the classic Nigerian Moi Moi. But we're not using our cooker, we're not using our pots, we're not using our induction hob. We're literally just using the steam oven function and the blender. And of course, we'll be putting in our Moi Moi leaf as well, which just gives it the flavor. You know, your Moi Moi is nothing without the Moi Moi leaf to me. I know there are other ways we can actually make Moi Moi using different tins, etc. But today, we're going with our classic Moi Moi leaf. So we're starting with the beans. Our normal beans, you can use any kind of beans you want, but really it's just the regular beans you can find in the market. But soak them overnight, literally, and then you find it like this. Now I'm going to be putting it into the blender. So we're scooping in our beans first. Again, I'm a fan of using measuring cups. I know in Nigeria is, use your eye to measure, but I think it's always safest when you go with the measuring cups. So we have the 2/3 here. I'll be putting in 3. Okay. And of course, our tatashe, our onions, and of course, the rodo. So we're just gonna put them in. Chopped onions. I mean, some people don't really chop theirs, but I think it's easier to just chop yours. And then we just pour in normal lukewarm water. And it's time to blend. Okay, now that the mix is all smooth, keyword smooth, we're going to pour this in and put in all our spices. Just to ensure that everything actually gets done, you need to make sure that it is smooth. So now you can either use your Maggi bouillon cubes, or I don't like using Maggi nor, so I use Sazon instead. So Sazon is an all-purpose seasoning. It has garlic, it has salt, it has pepper, etc. It's just an alternative to this. So you can either decide to use this or use this. But personally, I'll be using this. We'll taste for salt after. Also putting in the oil. You can just use your vegetable oil. Some people that want to go healthy, which I recommend, you can use olive oil as well. And then salt. People always forget to put salt, and they forget that salt is not to make it salty, but it's actually meant to put all the flavors together. So I use a spoon of salt. The recipes will definitely be added as mix. Of course, you can use a whisk. I'll just put the last bit of oil. To make sure that no seasoning is on the bottom. Delicious. This is ready to go into our Moi Moi leaf now. In another video, we'll teach you how to wrap. So this is going in. Don't want it to be too full. Okay. So now with your steam oven, you have this perforated tray with the holes under, as the name implies. So you literally just put your Moi Moi leaf with your Moi Moi in it, just like this. And we're taking it into the oven. Okay, so with every Miele steam oven, you have this perforated trays. You also have the regular trays that you use. But for most of your functions and the steam function, as you know, we're using water, so you actually need it to be drained, which is so smart. So we're steaming our eggs in the steam oven as well. Literally. You don't need to understand how to use the temperature. You don't need to understand anything more than literally just put your eggs on the tray. Our guinea fowl has been placed in our sous vide bag and kept in the fridge for 6 hours. And the beauty of this is it allows your chicken or your guinea fowl or your turkey, whatever poultry you have, it could even be meat, to actually season quicker. So it's sealed and you keep it straight in the fridge. You can keep it overnight if you want. You can keep it in your freezer and use it as a way to store. So now we're popping it into our oven. So you have your water intake pipe and you feed it the water. And it literally drinks the water, enough water that it needs. When it's taking enough water, it stops. Now you have different functions here. You can decide to start maybe a few minutes before your guests come, or you can decide the time you want it to finish. So if you have a party at 7 o'clock, you just put your finish time, finish at 7 o'clock, so it works backwards for you. So you don't need to do calculations or the thinking, it does it for you. But I need this chicken to start now. So our eggs are ready. It tells you literally, you don't need to have a timer, nothing. It said finished. You can either decide that if you're not happy with the texture, you continue cooking. If you don't believe that it's ready, you can put continue cooking. I believe it's ready. So now our eggs have just come out of the steam oven and it should be perfectly cooked. We're just going to cool it in cold water to allow it to peel better. Ooh. And just like that, our moi moi is ready. We're going to be making our jollof rice, authentic Nigerian jollof rice, using our barbecue grill to roast our tomatoes and our peppers, and using our steam oven to steam the jollof rice. We're not using our pots, we're not using our cooker, we're not using our induction hob. So first of all, rule number 1, don't directly put oil on the barbecue grill. Obviously, you don't want to cause a fire in the house or smokiness in your kitchen. So I'd advise that you put a bit of vegetable oil directly on your veggies that you're going to be grilling. Now, the whole idea of us grilling is, as opposed to putting it in the oven, I want my jollof rice to have a smoky feeling, smoky taste, smoky aroma as well, and just make it delicious. So I usually put it on 11. Okay, so it's at this point that we add our tomato mix. Now you can either use your stew mix already, your stew base, your jollof base, anything you want to use, to be honest. Now you can also add your tinned tomatoes at this point as well. Like I said, we're not using any of our induction, so we're substituting what we normally use our induction hob for. So the first thing you do is putting your oil into your baking tray. You can use any baking tray you have at home. You can mix in your tinned tomatoes into your tomato mix. Normally you fry this, but we're mixing it in because we're steaming our jollof rice this time around. I would normally go for my jollof base that has either been cooked in my steam oven first before putting this in, because I quite like my tomatoes to be very well cooked. So we have our washed rice, has been washed about 3 times. First thing we're doing is we're adding the rice to the tray after our oil. You can use vegetable oil, you can use olive oil. I prefer olive oil. So arrange the rice on your baking tray evenly like this. Now we're pouring in our tomato mix. You can put a generous amount in. The more the jollof base, the redder it is. And I mean, who doesn't like red jollof rice? You can either use a spatula or your spoon to mix in the rice and the jollof. You can see there's a bit of water already from my rice, which is fine because we're still going to add in some water into it. So like I said, at this point is where you taste for salt. If it's not enough, you can just add a bit more. If you want more pepper, you can do that. And then don't forget to mix. So if you have your base, your rice base and tomato base at 200 grams, I'd advise you add 100 grams of water. If you have it at 300 grams, I advise you add 150 grams of water. The same way you add water to your pot, we're adding water to allow it to cook. You don't need it to be boiling hot water. You can use your lukewarm water. And it's ready to go into the oven. All right, so now it's in our steam oven function, steam cooking, 100 degrees. Okay,